Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I'm Bruce Poppy. This is Bruce Poppy's show. Let me ask you something. How many years have you known there is more in you than the life you're living right now? You feel the gap between who you are on the inside and who you've been showing the world on the outside. You smile, you perform, you get things done, but in the quiet moments, you know you're meant for more. That gap hurts. It shows up as frustration, self-doubt, second guessing, numbing out at night. That's a good one. And the quiet voice that asks, is this really it for me? See, your potential, your passion, your excellence is not missing. It's buried under masks, old lies, and the wrong action that keeps you running in circles. I'm Bruce Poppy, and I'm glad you're here. Before we go any further, I want you to know that I'm not talking to you from some perfect stage, right? I am living this as I bring it forward to you. For years, I was the guy who looked like he had it all together. Married at 16, we had 4 kids, grandkids, running businesses, standing on stages with a mic in my hand. People would come to me for advice. But behind that, I was exhausted. I was a chameleon. I had a version of me for my family, a version of me for my business, a version of me for my friends, and then the version of me that collapsed at night wondering, when is it my turn to live as the real me? I know there was more in me, but I kept hiding behind being busy, being needed, being the strong one for everybody else. I wore a lot of masks. I believed a lot of lies about what I was allowed to and what I was expected to want for my life. So if any of that sounds a little too familiar, if it strikes a nerve, you're in the right place. So drop a comment, yeah, me too, and smash that thumbs up. So let me be clear, who this program is for. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you want to bring forward the best version of you, if you have a life that looks successful and from the outside seems like everything's together, but on the inside, you're empty, unfulfilled, this is for you. And who is this not for? If you're looking for some quick fix, some magic silver bullet, if you want to change without doing the work, if you want a magic hack that solves everything while you stay the same, this is not for you. Unleashing excellence is a lifestyle. It's not the Ozempic of personal development. We live in this microwave society. Everybody wants everything right now. We want to take a pill. We want to fix it real fast. But real transformation is not a 30-second reheat. So there's a simple reason that gap we talked about between who you are on the inside and who you show the world. There's a reason that is there. And it's not completely your fault. See, most of us were taught, or most of us were not taught, how identity really works. We're taught how to perform, how to fit in, how to get approval or acceptance, but not how to live as the real us. From the time we were very small, we were kids, we learned to put on masks to be loved, to avoid conflict. We also picked up other people's beliefs about who we are and what is possible for us. And over time, those stories start to feel like facts. I was thrust into adulthood at 16. I turned 16 in February My son was born in July. We got married in August, and I didn't know what to do, man. I was just trying to figure it out. So the only thing that I had to fall back on is I modeled what my parents did and what I believe society required. I tried to be the man I thought I was supposed to be, not the man I was actually designed to be. So it actually makes sense that you feel this gap. See, you're not crazy. You're not weak. I'll say that again in English for those in the back. You're not crazy and you're not weak. You've just been running a script that was handed to you instead of the one that was designed for you. But here's the problem. If we do not deal with that gap, it does not stay neutral. It eats at you. I got some notes here keeping me on track here because I tend to go off on rabbit trails very, very easily. So, but at the energy level, the law of vibration says nothing stays still. Everything is always moving. You're either evolving or you're dissolving. You can't maintain the status quo. Everything changes. It's the only thing that's constant in life is change. So if you're just sitting back going through the motions, you're actually going backwards. So you either got to evolve or you're dissolved. See, when you live with that split between who you are and who you pretend to be, it shows up as anxiety, numbing out, snapping at people you love, starting and stopping projects, sabotaging your finances, and feeling like you're on a loop that you just can't get off, a merry-go-round or one of those roundup things, you know, you got the fair that spins real fast and the floor drops out. You're stuck on that forever. See, I know because I lived that loop for years. I kept saying, I'll deal with this later. I'll slow down later. I'll take care of me later. But guess what? Life has a way of putting us in our place. So in 2004, I was 36 years old. I had my first heart attack. I had 100% blockage of the LAD. That's the one they call the Widowmaker. But guess what? This hard-headed dude, I did not learn my lesson. And that started, it was a ball that was rolling. My health was declining. I had major issues for starting in 2004, and it culminated in 2018 when the universe finally called my bluff. I ended up having 7 surgeries in 6 months. I almost died more than one time. Laying in that hospital bed, hooked up to machines, I had to face a hard truth. I had built a life that looked strong from the outside while ignoring the truth of who I was on the inside. That moment, the universe was telling me, you do not get to fake it anymore. I don't want you to wait for a hospital bed, a divorce, or a breakdown, or a financial crash to have your moment. So here's what we're going to do today. This is not another one of those motivational talks where you feel all fired up for a day and then you slide back into the same old habits. Believe me, I've lived there, done that. I've been pursuing, trying to be better, looking for that magic bullet, that little thing, that one thing I can do that would turn my life around. But you know what? That's not how this works. So my goal, just so you know up front, when we're done, I'm going to have 3 things in your hands. First is a clear mirror of where you are really. Second is a map of what actually needs to change. Third is the first concrete actions you can take in the next 24 hours. See, these are like the ABCs of effecting real change. And I'll point them out as we go along. So I call that map Unleashing Excellence. Unleashing Excellence. Let me get, let's see, where am I here? This, bam. Unleashing Excellence. Unleashing Excellence, what is that? What is Unleashing Excellence? It's about stripping away the false beliefs, the false identities that keep us small. It starts with burning the mask. That's the false identities that keep us small. That breaks, the next step is our mind. It's kind of hard to see there with the way I got my setup, but that's the little icon. It's about breaking the limiting beliefs that hold you down. I call it unlearn to unleash. right? And then once you get to that point, the next step in this this 3-phase plan is the forge. So here, and that's where you put forward the actions that are going to unleash the excellence that's already in you. So here's the thing. I know God doesn't, number one, does not make mistakes. You have everything inside you already to be anything you want to be. Excellence is already inside you. God made us this way. See, the problem is it's not that you don't have enough potential, right? We all have potential. The problem is these masks that we built to survive, the lies we believed about who we are, and the lack of disciplined, intentional action. The Unleashing Excellence path is built on those 3 pillars. Like I mentioned, pillar 1 is burning the mask. This is where you identify and start to burn the fake versions of you that once helped you survive, but now keeping you small. Pillar number 2 is unlearn to unleash. This is where we dig up. My mouse is going a little crazy here. This is where we dig up and break the lies and limiting beliefs that have been running your life from the background, kind of automatically, subconsciously. Pillar 3 is the forge. This is where we turn insights into daily reps and build the body, mind, and life that match who you really are on the inside. So in our time together, I want to give you a clear picture of each pillar. I'm going to share with you some of my own story, how I nearly lost my life, and how I had to rebuild from the ground up. So you can see this is not theory for me. I've been working and building. God put this in me a few years ago, February of 2023. I was fed up. I was frustrated about how things were going. I was crying out, and God gave me a word. The word was connections. How do I get through? How do we get through this? Everything that's going on in society, in our own personal life, within the family. How do we get through this? And the word that came was connections. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Connections. And then over a little bit of time, it fleshed out. The number one connection that we need to have to be able to get through this thing called life is our connection to God, creator, source, the universe, whatever name you want to put on it. Because that's where the ultimate source of truth comes from. What's how we develop these intuition, these gifts, the discernment, the things that are going to help us unleash the excellence that's already inside of us. The second connection is getting connected with yourself. We need to stop pulling. That's about burning the mask, getting connected to who we really are. Who is Bruce Poppy? Who are you when nobody's around? Not who your spouse or partner thinks you are, not who you need to be in your job, what society thinks, but who are you at your core? And then the third connection is getting connected with other people, building our tribe. So at the end of this thing, we're going to finish this one simple decision and a set of actions to get you started on this path. So if you're tired of feeling the gap between your potential and the reality that you're living, stay with me. If you can, grab a notebook, piece of paper, because I want you to treat this as a starting point of a very real shift. Not just some more information, not just some cool video, but I want people to take action. I want to transform lives. I want the people to see. That's one of my superpowers is my authenticity. I'm different than a lot of these other guys out there. And the mindset and person, I'm living this stuff and I'm telling you what works, what doesn't work, the problems, the issues, because just because you make a decision, I'm going to make a better life today, wake up tomorrow, doesn't mean everything is going to be puppy dogs and rainbows. So we got to get a hold of who we really are. If we're going to take advantage of what's coming in the future, this age of Aquarius, this golden age, as we move forward, as things develop and change and flesh themselves out, we need to be ready. I, as a person, as an individual, need to be ready. So let's start with pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 is burning the mask. When I say mask, I'm not talking about being fake on social media. I'm not talking about, something you wear on Halloween. I'm not talking about those silly things that people strapped on their faces and still are to this day over that bioweapon COVID situation. I'm talking about the version of you that you send out to live your life for you. See, the mask is part of you, and it knows exactly what to say that will get people to like you. It knows how to keep the peace. It knows how to avoid conflict, how to get approval, how to not rock the boat. It's the performer. It's the people chaser, the people pleaser, the tough one, the funny one, the fixer. These are all little names and little things of the different masks that we put on. None of these started out as evil. Most of our masks were built to protect us. That's the way our brain, the subconscious mind works. It works to protect you. They help you survive maybe in a house or a school or in a marriage or a job where you really didn't feel safe. You couldn't really be who you wanted to be, who you really are. The problem is that that mask that helped you survive is now keeping you small. You continue to hold on to that thing. So let me ask you this. Where in your life do you feel like you have to edit yourself? Where do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? You have to read the room, managing everyone else instead of telling the truth about what you think and what you want. For some, it's marriage. For some people, it's on their job. For some people, it's in your family or friend group. You show up as the strong one, the nice one, the easy one, the reliable one, while the real you sits in the back seat. If that hits, that's your mask. So go back to those quick questions. Where in your life do you feel like you have to edit yourself? What's the first thing that pops in your head? Where do you feel like you're walking on eggshells, reading the room, managing everyone instead of telling the truth about what you think and what you want? See, there's a reason that we built these masks. When you were young, you learned very quickly what got you love, what got you pain. Maybe you learned that being quiet kept you safe. Maybe you learned that taking care of everyone else kept the peace. Maybe you learned that being the joker or the achiever got you attention. That's where I landed. Your nervous system is smart. God, this machine, this thing we call our body, it's perfect. So this is how we survive. We built this mask around this role. Over time, the mask becomes automatic. You don't even think about it. You just slip into that role when you walk into certain rooms or talk to certain people. I mean, remember the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey? He was just kind of a nerdy, nobody really paid attention to this guy, came across this funky mask, put it on. All of a sudden, he transformed into this crazy, everybody loved this guy, fun loving. It was a complete transformation. That metaphor that in that movie is exactly what I'm talking about. These masks that we put on to be able to get through life, to be able to get through situations. But here, wearing those masks, there's a cost. In that movie, remember, there's a cost for living behind that mask. See, you can impress people from behind the mask, but you cannot feel loved there. Because deep down, you know that the version of you that they're loving is not the real you. When you live behind a mask long enough, you start to forget who you are without it. Your yes does not mean yes. Your no doesn't mean no. You agree to do things you do not want. You stay silent when everything in you is screaming to speak. See, this is the cost here. This is where resentment grows. This is where affairs can happen in your marriages and relationships. This is where addictions grow. This is where we wake up one day and say, I don't even recognize myself anymore. How many of you have heard that? Or somebody said that, hey, what's going on with you? See, I know because I did it. I was the strong one. I was the fixer. I was the guy who had an answer and always said, oh, I'm good. I got it. I did that for my family, for business, for the community. The mask worked until it didn't. See, as through going through my career, when I had a job in manufacturing, anything that I did, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to excel. I could work harder. I could do things better than anybody. So I was always able to, at a very young age, because I started out, like I said, got married when I was 16, started in my career. 25 years working in a manufacturing building plastic injection molds. Started from knowing nothing. And then I worked hard, and I was the youngest guy in the shop. But I learned fast. I was able to do more. I was able to get things done. I was able to adapt. My mask for a lot of those years was achievement. I wanted to be better than everyone. I could excel, and I could be better than most anybody else around me. But that was the mask. That wasn't the real me. See, the mask cost me some health, cost me peace, and cost years of my life pretending I was fine when I was not. I'm telling you this because the mask, this mask, burning the mask idea, it's not a cute idea for a brand. It's life and death stuff for your soul. So what does it actually mean to burn the mask? Burning the mask does not mean you're going to blow up your life, quit your job tomorrow, or scream all your truth at the people who are not ready to hear it. Burning the mask starts with one simple thing: awareness. See, you cannot burn what you will not name. You have to be aware of what's going on. Then we can fix it. Pillar one is about, and the burning the mask is about seeing the mask clearly, owning where you are performing, and beginning to let the real you take the wheel again. I'm going to say that again. Pillar one, burning the mask, is about seeing the mask clearly. See, you're not going to just make it, oh, I'm not going to wear that mask anymore. No, this is a process. We just need to become aware, right? We need to expand our thinking a little bit. Pillar one is about seeing the mask clearly, owning where you're performing, not being the real you, not being authentic, and beginning to let the real you take the wheel again. This is the A of the ABCs of real change. A is awareness. You bring the mask out of the dark and into the light. You stop pretending that it's just the way things are. And you admit, no, this is a role that I'm playing to stay safe or for whatever reason. For acceptance, for love. This is a role. We're all playing these roles. And sometimes those roles have purpose and have meaning. But we have to be aware of what they are so we can confront it. So here's what I want you to do. That piece of paper that I talked about grabbing, grab a notebook, piece of paper, anything, write it on your mirror, doesn't matter. But have a clean page, write this at the top. Where am I wearing a mask? Write this at the top. Where am I wearing a mask? Then I want you to write down 3 questions. Number 1, in what area of my life do I feel I cannot be fully honest? Is it at home, at work, with friends, at church, online? Online is really, really good nowadays with the social media. You can be any damn buddy you want, right? Catfishing. You can put on some type of persona and make your life look all fantastic and beautiful, but it's all a mask. Number 2 question. So the first question, in what area of my life do I feel that I cannot be fully honest? Question 2, who do I feel I have to be in that space? The strong one, the quiet one, the funny one, the perfect one, the caretaker, the achiever. Write that role. Don't just whatever first pops in your mind. That's your mask. Number 3, the third question, what am I afraid will happen if I show up as the real me in this whatever setting it is? Sit with that for just a moment. So ask the questions. Where am I wearing a mask? In what area of my life do I feel I cannot be fully honest? Who do I feel I have to be in that space? That's your mask. What am I afraid will happen if I show up as the real me? See, you don't have to solve this problem right now. We just need to, it's about awareness, this first step. It's going to take some time. This isn't going to happen overnight. Like I said, this unleashing excellence, this pathway, these 3 pillars is not the Ozempic of personal development. It's going to take some time. So Just tell the truth. That is the most important thing. We got to stop lying to our damn selves. We have to be honest if we want to be better, if we want to unleash the excellence that's inside every single one of us. We need to be honest and take a look. That honesty, that is the first burn. The honest look at what we're doing, being aware, is the first burn. Because the moment you name the mask, you are no longer fully controlled by it. You have to start, you started to step back. You have started to step back into the driver's seat of your own life. You got to own it. So in a minute, we're going to talk about pillar number 2, unlearn to unleash. This is where we go underneath the mask and deal with the beliefs that built it. But none of that works if we skip step 1. This is a process you can go through over and over. Step 1, burn the mask, awareness. Step 2, we got to unlearn. Back up. We cannot unlearn what we will not admit. We cannot unleash what we insist on hiding. Burning the mask begins the moment you decide, I'm done living my life as a character in someone else's script. I'm ready to show up as the real me. So as we transition from the mask into the mind, unleash, unlearn to unleash. We started to see the mask, right? We understand what the masks are. Now we have to go under it. Part 2, or pillar 2, is unlearn to unleash. Burning the mask is about who you're pretending to be. Unlearn to unleash is about what you believe is true. See, because here's the truth. You do not behave from what you know. You behave from what you believe. If you believe you're not enough, you're going to find a way to prove that belief. If you believe you're too much, you're going to keep shrinking to make other people comfortable. If you believe it's too late for you, you'll keep starting and stopping, so you'll never have to face how powerful you really are. And this belief, I love this belief, this mindset stuff is really, really deep and passionate for me. I've always been a positive, glass half full type of guy. Let's fix it. Let's find the problem. We can fix it. But what I didn't understand, and it wasn't until after my 2018 situation where I nearly died multiple times, all those surgeries, I had to make a decision about what I believed, how I was thinking, who I was listening to. And one of the people that really had a big impact is Lisa Schermerhorn. She wrote a book, my friend Lisa Schermerhorn. It's her birthday today, by the way. So happy birthday, Lisa. But she wrote a book called Behind Every Belief is a Lie. Inside the word belief is the word lie. So as we look into pillar number 2, let me ask you a few questions. Let's start this, prime the pump a little bit. When you think about going to the next level or doing something, making a change in your life, what's the first sentence that shows up in your head? Like, say, example, we're getting close. Month and a half, we're going to be at the end of the year. Everybody's new year, new me, goals, resolutions. I'm going to lose weight. Well, if you're that person and you decide, think about yourself, I'm going to lose some weight. What's the first thing that pops into your mind? Is it, who do you think you are? People like us don't do that. You'll always mess it up. You're going to quit. You're not smart enough. You're too old. So when you think about going to the next level or making some change in your life, what is the first sentence that shows up in your head? I'm going to start a business. What first pops in your head? Oh, people like us doing that. You don't have enough money. You don't have, what is those things that pop into your head? These are not random thoughts. This is your belief system talking. Most people never slow down enough to hear those sentences clearly. They just feel the anxiety, the hesitation, self-sabotage, and they assume it's their personality. This is just how I am. Nope. This is conditioning. This is programming. This is a story that you were handed. We pick up our beliefs, the things that guide us in our life, those deep subconscious things when we're very, very young, come from other people. Parents, grandparents, society, school, teachers, coaches. All these people put these beliefs or these ideas, and they become our beliefs over time. So there's a reason these beliefs are so strong. So you don't sit down one day and decide, I think I'm going to believe I'm not enough. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm going to believe that I am not enough. Those beliefs are built over time by repetition and emotion. Maybe you had a parent, maybe you had a teacher, a coach who spoke smallness over you. Maybe you grew up in a system that told you to keep your head down and not stand out. Maybe you failed once or twice and your mind decided, well, this is just who we are. And it kept replaying the moment like a highlight reel, right? See, these are the things that keep us small, these beliefs, the way we think. If you want to, what's the saying? If you're going to continue, if you want something different than what you have right now, you're going to have to do something different, right? If you want to continue having the same stuff you always got, you're going to continue getting the same stuff you always had. The Henry Ford quote, if you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're also right. It's all based on how we believe. That is the formula for creation. Anything through the dawn of time. It starts as a thought. The thought will trigger some emotions. Those emotions will turn into actions, and those actions will give us results. If we don't like the results that we're getting, we have to reverse engineer that. Maybe we take some different actions. Maybe to take those different actions, we got to have some different emotions and different thoughts. So this all comes back to how we think, what we believe. See, we live in a world that's also been feeding us lies about who we are and what is possible. Narratives in the media, education, even some religions that say, you're broken, you're a sinner, you're powerless. You need us to tell you what to think. Over time, those voices stack up and your mind takes that as truth. So when you try to step into a bigger life, something different, you're not just fighting laziness, you're fighting a whole library of stories and narratives and things that say, sit down, stay small, don't rock the boat. My mom used to tell me all the time when I was, younger, having kids, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have, provide for my family, all these different stuff. I was, caught up in the, having all the nice house and cars and all that stuff, which I know is BS. They're not bad things to have, but my mom always told me, hey, you need to get your heads out of the clouds. You need to stop your dreaming. You need to, work hard on your job because you got kids and a family to provide for. So, you need to, stay small. So again, I'm telling you, you're not crazy. You're not weak. Here's a funny one. You're loyal. You've been loyal to beliefs and stories that were handed to you that are keeping you from unleashing the excellence that God put inside every single one of us. The problem is that loyalty is killing your future. As long as we keep running on these old beliefs, we're going to keep recreating the same life with a different calendar year. Like I said, month and a half or so, new year, new me, new calendar year, right? I'm gonna get start a business. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get healthy. I'm gonna start saving some money. You get a new job. It's the same pattern. New relationship. You have the same fights. New goals. It's the same sabotage. You already know what that feels like. You just like me. We read the books. We go to these events. We get all fired up, and then the old beliefs pull you back like a rubber band. It's like a chain, wrapped around our legs. We can only go so far. That's why motivation is great, but it's very, very limited. It's fading. It's fleeting. It goes away quickly. So, the question is, who do you think you are? See, people don't like change. Many people have an aversion to change. You know what? Because change sometimes is painful. Change sometimes hurts. Some of the changes we need to make might be able to have some people out of our lives. Maybe we need to do things differently. One of the other things, people are going to people around you. If you want to share, say, I'm going to start my business. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. The people around you, oh, you're crazy. You're going to mess this up just like you always do. You're going to quit. You're not a finisher, blah, blah, blah. You know, I know those voices. You know them too. For years, I had to earn my worth by working harder than everyone else because I was started so young. I didn't know what I was doing, but I could outwork any damn body. I believe my value came from what I did for other people. I believe that if I ever slowed down or focused on my own path, everything would fall apart. I'm that spinning plate guy, right? You seen the plate that got the plates on a stick, guy splits a plate, got all these plates going. Hey, I got all this stuff going. My life is great. Oh, this plate starts to wobble. I got to go here, spin that one some more. Oh, this one, I got to jump over here, jump over here. Those are the things that keep us small. I even believe that a lot of lies the world fed me. Lies about history. I could spend hours talking about all that. How the game is rigged and what a man is supposed to be. I let those lies define what I thought was possible for my health, my money, my impact that I would leave on the world, on my family, my kids, my grandkids, the legacy that I'm looking to build. See, those beliefs made my life feel smaller than I really was, than the calling I felt on the inside. The beliefs helped me, or the beliefs made me feel smaller than the call, because I know inside me, man, I know I was meant for greatness. I know God doesn't mess up, but I could never put all the pieces together until after the 2018 situation when I really started digging. I can call that my spiritual awakening, and think everything just like, oh wow, I could see the little piece over here. I could see how it all comes together. Everything's connected, my friends. See, when your life feels smaller than your calling, you're going to either numb out or you're going to break out. So there's no standing still. Numbing out, when I talk about numbing out, watching mindless, stupid shows on the television, doom scrolling through Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is, your thing. Maybe it's numbing out by having a few glasses of wine, a couple of drinks. Maybe numbing out is smoking a joint or something. I don't know. But you know what? There is no standing still. So unlearning to unleash is about breaking that agreement. It's about identifying the lies, the limiting beliefs, the hand-me-down stories that no longer match who you really are or who you're becoming, and choosing to let them go so something more true, something truer, is that even a word? Truer? For something truer can take their place. In the ABCs of real change, the first one, A, is awareness. That's seeing the mask. B is belief, upgrading the script you're living from. We got to change the way we think, to change the way we believe. We cannot move forward and change anything in our own life, in our family, in our community, in the country, globally. We cannot change anything with the same thinking that got us into this mess in the first place. And here's the key. You do not overpower an old belief with hype. You replace it with a truer belief that you can act on. So in this process that we're going through here, here's another little exercise, right? Get that piece of paper out, that notebook, turn to a new page, and write this at the top. What beliefs are holding my life in place? What beliefs are holding my life in place? Write that down on top of a piece of paper. Then I want you to write 2 columns. On one side, the left side, write old story. On the right side, write new truth. So start with the area that hurts the most right now for you. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your money, relationships, or your purpose. So ask yourself, what is the sentence that plays in my head when I think about changing this? Right? So let's say, pick one. Let's health, for example. I want to be healthier. I want to lose weight. I want to stop eating all the processed foods. You want to improve your health. What's the first thing that comes into your mind when you think about improving your health? that sentence goes in the old story column. For example, I always quit. I'm terrible with money if money is your thing. It's too late for me. People like me don't get these opportunities. Then, in the new truth column, I want you to write a belief that is truer and more empowering, even if it feels uncomfortable. Even if it feels uncomfortable, write it down. So if you take your old story and your new truth, what is the thing you're going to be? So as example, let's say the first one was, I always quit, right? I want to lose weight, but I can never keep going. I can have, a couple, 3 weeks and I need to get me some cookies. So your old story is, I always quit. Your new truth, I'm learning to follow through. Maybe it's the money, right? Oh, I'm terrible with money. I can't save money. I used to say all the time, I didn't know how powerful words were. I used to say, man, I'm so broke, I could hardly pay attention. So that's the old story. The new story is, I can learn money skills and become a good steward. If maybe you think you're too old, it's too late for me, I can't change this. It's not too late. My past prepared me for this next season. That's your new truth. Maybe you say, people like me don't get these opportunities. That's your old story. The new one is, I do get opportunities. I'm training myself to be ready for them. See, you don't have to feel it yet. You just have to be willing to write it and consider that it might be more true than the old story. We got to be willing to open up a little bit and try new things. Because the moment that you see the lie in that belief, Lisa Shermer's book, and every belief is a lie, because the moment you see the lie and write the new truth, you've pulled that belief out of the darkness. Just like the mask, you're becoming aware of it. You pulled the belief out of the dark, and so you have something you can practice instead of the old pattern you've been repeating. This is unlearn to unleash. See, we're not adding more noise. You're stripping away the lies that keep your excellence buried. Like I said before, you don't lack potential. You don't lack purpose. You don't lack excellence. It's already inside you. It's just buried through the masks that we wear and the lies that we tell ourselves. So in a minute, we're going to move into pillar 3, the forge. And I'm going to show you how to turn these new truths into daily action. So they're not just nice words on a page. But hear me on this. Just like the mask, if you don't go through the process, if you skip this step, no strategy is going to save you. You cannot build a foundation, a new life. You cannot build a new life on a foundation of old lies. I'm going to say that again in English for those in the back. You cannot build a new life on a foundation of old lies. Unlearn to unleash is the moment you decide, I'm done letting outdated other people's beliefs drive my future. I'm willing to question what I was taught so I can become who I really am, my true authentic self. So we've seen the mask. Now we've started to unlearn the lies and write the new truth. So the next pillar is the forge. It's kind of hard to see there. Now we hit that part where most people fall off, and this is where I'm guilty. This is, like I said, this is a lifestyle. This is not a one-time situation. You're just going to watch this. This is a process. Like I said, it's a path. The pathway, the lifestyle of unleashing excellence requires some action. And that's where the forge is. Forge is where insight becomes action. Forge is where identity becomes behavior. Forge is where the excellence in you stops living on paper and starts showing up in your calendar and your choices. When I say forge, I'm talking about the process that a blacksmith uses. You've seen that. There was even a TV show, about forges and blacksmith. What do you take that raw metal, you put it in the fire, you bring it out and hit it over and over and over again. You just beat the tar out of it. Put the metal in the fire, heat it up, hit it, beat it until it becomes something useful, something strong, something beautiful. That's what real change looks like. Not one big breakthrough. but repeated steps, repeated reps and steps in the fire of daily life. So let me ask you something honest. How many times have you watched a video like this, read a book, gone to an event, felt all lit up, man, I'm jacked up, I'm gonna conquer the world. Then a week later, you're back in the same old patterns. Your notebook is still full, right? You take all the notes. I got piles of notebooks of notes and places and things and videos and books that I've read. The notebook is full, but your life is not different. You keep saying, I just need more motivation. I just need the right system. But the truth is, you already know enough to change your life right now. It's already inside of us. We know the damn stuff. The gap is not the information. The gap is implementation. Ooh, got the goosebumps on that one. The gap between who you are really on the inside, your true authentic self, and the person that you show the outside world, that gap is not lack of information. The gap is lack of implementation. That's where the forge comes in. See, your nervous system, our brain and how it works, does not change because you had an insight, you had an epiphany. The light bulb goes on. It changes because you take some new action repeatedly, especially when it's uncomfortable. That one really hits me. That's where I'm falling short, and I'm still working on that every single day. Taking that intentional, disciplined action. That's the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation, man, I get all fired up, I can do this, motivate, but that's going to fade away. Discipline is doing it when you don't want to. Discipline is doing it when nobody's watching. Action is how you prove to your own mind that the new belief is real. See, all these times when we set these goals and we have these thoughts, these insights, I'm going to do this. Every time we quit on ourselves, our subconscious mind puts that in there. So action is how to prove you can change your mind. You can reprogram your subconscious mind with that new belief, and it's real. So if your old story on that piece of paper, one side old story, other side new truth. If your old story was, I always quit, and your new truth is, I'm learning to follow through, that will not feel real until you start showing up for yourself in small, consistent ways. So in the ABCs of real change, this is the C. A is awareness. This can be applied to any area of your life. The ABCs of affecting real change. First, you have to be aware. A is awareness. B is belief. You have to believe that you can make a change. And then C is consistent, courageous, committed action. Consistent, courageous, committed action. Not perfect action, not huge action, consistent, courageous action. I read a fantastic book. It's called The Consistency Chain. I highly recommend, searching it out. Here's the hard truth. If you skip forge, nothing changes. You might as well turn this video off right now. If you're not willing to go through the process, to do the work, to put forward the action, the disciplined, intentional action, see, nothing's going to change. You can burn the mask on paper. You can write beautiful new truths in your notebook. You can stand in front of your mirror all day and have all your positive affirmations you want. You can think about, I'm going to manifest $1 million in my bank account. But if your day-to-day choices do not shift, your life will not shift. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you a bunch of BS. This is where I fall short, and many other people I feel are the same way. I'm not much different than most anybody else. So you will become what I was for years, a personal development junkie. Anybody out there? Right? Got shelves of books, hours of video, notebooks full of insights, and I was still running the same patterns with my health, my money, my time, and my relationships. I knew the language of change. I was not living the lifestyle of change. The gap between what I knew and what I lived ate at me. I fed the very beliefs I was trying to break. See, we talk a big game. This is the attitude. See, you talk a big game, but you never follow through. I'm telling you this because I do not want that for you. I respect you too much to pretend that mindset alone is what's going to save us. At some point, you got to pick up the hammer and you got to start pounding out your life. So what does it actually mean to forge? Forge is about designing simple, repeatable actions that line up with the real you and your new truths, and then doing them whether you feel like it or not. And I'm speaking to myself. This is where I fall short. I got all kinds of great ideas. My wife, everybody will tell you, I spend a lot of time thinking. I got all these great ideas, but it's the implementation. Something always comes up. I always come up with some bullshit excuse. We don't need 20 new habits. We're not burning down our whole life. Let's start with 3 small things. Your body, your mind, and your life. Right? We all can have better health, I believe. We can all think a little better, and we can all have a better life. So just 3 small things. You don't have to, like I said, burn down the whole thing at one time. Your body, how you treat your physical health and energy. Your mind, what you feed your thinking and your emotional state. Your life, your relationships, your money, your mission. For each of these 3, I want you to have one small forge rep, one daily action that proves your new story. We got to start beating it, changing that subconscious mind. So turn to a new page in your book, grab a new piece of paper, and on the top, forge reps. Forge reps. And then draw 2 lines down the page, making 3 sections. So 2 lines down the page, body on the top of one, mind, and life. Now think back to what you wrote in pillar 2, your old story and new truth, and ask yourself the question for each section. What is one small action I can take daily that lines up with my new truth? For example, let's say your old story around your body was, I always quit on myself. And your new truth is, I'm learning to follow through. Your forge rep might be, I walk for 10 minutes every day. Or I drink water before I touch my phone. Like I said, we're not talking about, going to the gym 6 or 7 days a week, an hour a day and doing 45 minutes of cardio, blah, blah, blah. No. 10 minutes too much? 5 minutes. Just walk 5 minutes. Move your body for 5 minutes. You don't even have to walk it. You can just bounce around. Dance for 5 minutes. Or drink water before you even touch your phone. How many of us, you wake up, one of the first things we grab is our tracking device and we start doom scrolling and seeing what's going on? That's the stuff that we're putting in our mind. So if your old story around your mind was, so that was the body, the old story around your mind was, I'm always negative. And your new story is, I train my focus on what I can control. Your forge rep might be, I write 3 things I'm grateful for every morning. Or I limit my news and feed my mind with something that builds me. A lot of people I know and a lot of the circles I run in, people spending far too much time looking at all the negative nastiness that's in the news, whatever, on X, Facebook, whatever, instead of feeding your mind with something that will build you. If you're old, what I've started doing myself is you can even habit stack. Whoa, you can do 2 of these things at one time. Let's say you want to walk for 5 or 10 minutes. Then you put some earbuds in or on your phone, play a video, positive, thinking video from there's tons of them out there all over the place. There's Tony Robbins, whoever you like, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all these old school guys. Lots of new stuff about positive motivation type stuff to start feeding your mind. Habit stack, walk and feed your mind at the same time. So if your old story is around your life or money, say, I'm terrible with money, and your new truth is, I'm becoming a good steward. Your forge rep might be, I check my accounts and track my spending for 5 minutes a day. Or I study one principle about money each day and apply one small thing. We can learn We can change. But we got to do things differently. The point is not the size of the action. The point is the alignment of the action. It has to match up with your new truth that you're choosing. So here's the challenge that I want to give you. Pick one forge rep area in each area, whether it's body, mind, and life, those 3 areas, one little thing a day. We're talking less than 15 minutes a day to be able to start the ball rolling, to change and unleash the excellence that's inside each and every one of us. So commit to doing those 3 small actions for the next 7 days. Do it for a week. Non-negotiable. You don't negotiate, or something comes up, or there's always something. We always rationalize and come up with these bullshit excuses in our mind why we can't do XYZ, right? Not when it's convenient, not when you feel motivated. Every day, as a signal to retrain your own mind. This is who I am now. You'll be amazed at how different you feel after 7 days of aligned action, because your whole world may not have changed yet, but because you will have, but that will show you proof that you are not your old story like you said you were. That is forge. Forge is where your identity stops being theory and becomes muscle memory. We got to develop these habits. Replace, get a bad habit, replace it with a good one. Forge is where you build the kind of self-respect that cannot be given to you and cannot be taken from you. You do not wait for life to give you the perfect opening. You tear one open and walk through it like you own the freaking place, like you belong there. You don't wait for life to give you the perfect opening. There will never be a perfect opening. You've got to tear it open and walk through. This is what this pillar is about. So about this transition, I'm going to be pulling all these 3 pillars together and invite you to make a clear decision about the kind of life you're going to live from this day forward. First, I want you to look at what is already on your page. If you've been playing along, you've seen your mask, you have named your old story and written your new truth, and you've defined 3 simple forge reps. This isn't theory anymore. This is the beginning of your unleashing excellence path. See, we've covered a lot here today. So let me pull this all together and begin to wrap up and start to land this thing. So we started with the gap, the feeling that there's more in you than the life you're living right now. We talked about pillar 1, burning the mask, seeing where you're performing instead of living as the real you, naming the version of you that helped you survive but are now keeping you small. We talked about pillar 2, unlearn to unleash, going under the mask to find the beliefs and stories that have been running your life. They're not even your stories. They're stuff that's been put there from other people. Moving from the old story to the new truth, you can stop living on a script that was handed to you that you did not write. And we talked about pillar 3, forge, turning all of that insight into simple daily action for your body, mind, and your life. So your excellence stops living in your potential and starts living in your reality. That is the unleashing excellence path. Burn them in the mask. Unlearn to unleash. Forge. This is not a slogan. This is a lifestyle that pulled me out of a life that looked strong on the outside and that I was dying on the inside and outside, literally. It's the same path I'm inviting in you to. See, I didn't just read this stuff out of a book and parroting something else. I've been developing, God, the creator's been putting this stuff inside of me and I've been living it, working it out, in the forge, doing the hammering things. Am I perfect? Hell no. But I'm a lot further along now than I'd before I started. And it's a process. The freedom that comes, the relief, the pressure that's lifted off when you know you're making some progress. So right now, whether you feel it or not, you're standing at a fork in the road. You can keep doing what you've been doing, keep wearing the same masks, keep believing those old stories, keep talking about change without building the reps that make it real, if you choose that path, your life will not fall apart overnight. It'll just quietly repeat. It's like Groundhog Day. Same patterns, same fights, same money stress, same frustration. You look in the mirror and know you're built for more than this. Or you can choose a different path. You can decide that today is the day you stop faking it. The day you stop giving more loyalty to your old stories and the lies than you give to your future. Today's the day that you choose to live from excellence that is already in you, not the fear that has been running you. That choice is not a feeling, it's a decision backed by action. So here it is. I'm going to ask you right now to make that decision. If you're hearing this and you know you're not ready for this type of lifestyle, you're not ready to make changes, that's okay. Own it. Say to yourself, I'm choosing to stay where I am, but at least be honest with yourself, right? We lie to ourselves all the time. So at least be honest with yourself. But if something in you is awake right now, if something in you is saying, this is my time, I'm done playing small, now is the time and I am the one, then I want you to mark this moment. I chose to unleash excellence in my life. I choose to unleash excellence in my life. Say it out loud, right now. I choose to unleash excellence in my life, not someday, today. Then I want, go back to that 7-day, the reps. Look at what is already in your notebook. You have written where you wear a mask. You have written old stories and new truths. You have written simple forge rep for your body, mind, and your life. So this is the starting line. I want to challenge you to a 7-day test. For the next 7 days, live as if your new truth is real. Live as if. Do your forge reps every single day. Catch yourself when the mask shows up and gently choose a more honest response. That awareness is the key point there. When the old story starts talking, read your new truth out loud and take one small action that matches it. Beat that stuff back. 7 days. It's a week. Give yourself that. I've given years. I've given years. We have given years to our old patterns. You can give 7 days to the real you. So here's what I want you to do. I don't want this to be a one-time moment. On this channel, we're going to keep walking the Unleashing Excellence path together. I'll be diving deeper into burning the masks, into the specific lies we need to unlearn, and into practical forged systems that'll build this lifestyle brick by brick. So here's what I want you to do right now, please. First, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Second, in the comments, I want you to share one of two things. Either the masks that you're already ready to burn, or the new truth you're choosing to live for the next 7 days. Put it out there. Let this be the moment you stop hiding from yourself. We can do this together. People know me, know I love music, and music is a huge part of my life. The universe speaks to me through music all the time. And that Prince song, Let's Go Crazy, dearly beloved, we're gathered here together today to get through this thing called life. That's what we do. We got to band together. I know there's more people out there. I'm looking to build a community, build a tribe, build a people that are unleashing excellence in their lives. And I want to hear about it. I want to hear your story. So we're not put here to live life as watered down version of ourselves. God put us here to make a difference, have an impact, unleash excellence, because everything that God is already in you. So if you think you're not enough, that you're no good, you're too old, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you're saying that, then you're saying God can't do that. Because everything that is God, it's all in us. We have everything we already need. It's all inside of us. We don't need to wait on some external circumstances to change so that we can build a happy, successful, prosperous life, a holistically successful life. See, the world needs you. That's why I decided to start doing this. Not because I wanted to. It was Scott McKay, the Patriot Street Fighter, told me, so Bruce, you need to get your voice out there because there's people you can reach that I can't reach. So the world needs you, the real you. Mask off, lies exposed, forge it. I'm Bruce Poppy. I'm honored to spend this time with you. So go take the next 7 days and start unleashing excellence in your own life. And I'll see you in the next